What is up, everybody? Good evening. Welcome to abolishcps.com. Something screwing next to me. I don't know what it's going to be, but let's get rid of it. All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to abolishcps.com. This is a late night um, on the cuff type show tonight with a bunch of special guests and a lot of good information. So let me get at this to no further avail. All the anticipation awaiting. We got Kim Page and Melissa Hearn with us this evening. And Kim is doing her hair, so we will only have her voice. And Melissa's here. And now we've got, oh my God, no way. We've got Miss Deidre Payne. Payne in the house? Holy smokes. Now, where's our other man here? Where did Mr. Jason go this eve? We're all live, guys. So I know these are all familiar faces for anybody that's watching us. I don't know if you are or not, but if you are, we all, Jesus, I don't even know what to say. What a good little running group. Deidre, can you hear us? Melissa, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, good. Phew. All right. So I was worried about that. I don't know where's Dominus take off to? He's going to come back and join us. It looks like Deidre stepped out. She got scared. So this thing's going on. So here we are, away from any sort of censorship on our ends, anyway, right? And let's see if we can get some real talk about what's going on in CPS out here. We're always so stuck on what everybody else wants us to say and what we can and can't say and so on. So it's time to let these people know what the real truths of everything are, and it's time to get this message out there so that people can actually get real education. The fact of the matter here is these people are legitimately stealing our children. That's what's going on here, and they're stealing them for things such as money, of course, right? But then they're also trafficking them for sex. That's another one. We've got organ harvesting. We have adrenochrome fueling. I mean, the list is terrible. There's nobody in this realm or in this business that's sitting there saying, boy, I really would like to get, little Johnny and adopt him and help him. This is all about money. This is all about getting people their sense of satisfactions and pleasures. I mean, it's just a disgusting system that our government not only supports, but it pays for this to happen. And if you don't think that this is happening, then, well, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know why you aren't able to figure this out. It's all simple. The writing's on the wall. And these people here will tell you, in fact, that this is true, what we're talking about, and this is real. Right, Melissa?
Yes, it is.
Absolutely, 100%.
I mean, where would we? There's so much to talk about when we talk about all this stuff. It's kind of like walking around a nudist colony right now. Like, whoa, censorship's off here, and we can kind of, our censorship is off. But everybody that's whatever these places that might, we might get alert, and all that stuff. But as for now, we can say what we will and how we want to say it. We don't have to say we're not lawyers. We don't, which we're not lawyers, but just say whatever. Any of this information that you're getting from us, guys, try it, whatever we can do to make CPS stop their reign of terror, because that's really what they are. They sit here and hold over our heads this bullcrap terrorist type manifesto, steal your kids, hold them for ransom. It's awful. And this is what's going on. And what is it going to take? What's it going to take? People to pay attention, listen, and realize. I just believe that so many people don't understand that this is what's happening. It just baffles me. What you all say about this? So quiet now. We have so much to say, but now we have none. What do we got?
No, I'm here. You got me.
All right.
Kim's here.
Melissa,
I think she's just put the snack on.
What's that?
Sure. Chair. Sorry about that. I had a slight interruption. They're looking for a lost can opener in the house.
We need a can opener. Get them a can opener.
Yeah, we need to open a can of whoop ass. Don't you know it?
Yeah, that's what needs to happen. You're damn right. Open up a can of whoop ass on these CPS people. What do you? This is just ridiculous. I mean, just the fact alone that we have to actually have a show that we take off to this direction and do something different than what all the standard stuff is doing, like the lawyers and this, that, and bullshit. We're not winning in the courtrooms. We're not. We're not beating them anywhere.
No,
We're not beating CPS at all.
Absolutely not. I mean, the judges, even if they had any set of morals, they're not going to go against the community standard of how the courts run. So even if you have one good judge, you have 100 bad judges, and the one bad judge ain't going to do, the one good judge ain't going to do anything in a world full of bad judges.
One bad apple spoils the bunch, Melissa. I mean, we've only talked about that forever, right?
Yeah, one good apple ain't going to make it to the top.
No, and with these judges, they're paid. A lot of them are part of all of this. A lot of them are, owning these foster homes. And part of these judges are part of the jail systems because the jails are privatized here. Come on, you know what I mean? So these judges are just funding these jails. They're putting bodies in there. Everything that we do in this country is surrounded by filling bodies to make an income, to make a point about money. If you really think about it, they take our kids, money from the federal government. We go to jail, money from the federal government. Our parents go into old folks' homes, money from the federal government. That's what it's all about. It's all about replacing the body with money, and it's just, it sucks. It sucks that we live in a country that's what we're dealing with here. It's a very scary thing. And if you're not paying attention to it, I'm telling you, people, this thing is coming to a screeching fast beginning, and it's going to stop even quicker. So if you don't get your head out of your ass, you're gonna be in a bad way.
Well, I mean, the system's getting more corrupt by the day. I mean, just since COVID, everything is quadrupled in its severity.
What are we gonna do? What are we doing? I'm thinking, like, what is it? We started talking about it on the shows earlier, but I would like to get to that point. What are we creating here? What kind of synopsis do we have that we're removing the father from the family? We are taking away the children. We're taking away people's guns, and all we're leaving out there is the women to be they're defenseless. That's really what we're doing, is we're removing the core, the family, away from the woman, everything, and creating a civilization of just women. So is it that the government knows that we need to protect the women and make sure that they move on if the end times are coming? Or is it the fact that the end times are near and we need, you know what I mean? Like, this is just crazy, because what is the goal of what they're trying to do here with the children and removing them from us? Where are they bringing them? What are they doing to them? Like, what the hell is happening?
I think some of it is, in order to argue security in the household, they go by the old standard of a family together. A family is secure or together, and if they break up that security, then they meet the grounds for termination.
Yeah, but they're deciding this. Like, good people like us are losing our kids for no reason. So what the hell? Why would you decide to a great American family and you're just going to go ahead and flip the switch on them and say, what, screw them, they don't get to have their kids? But we know this. We know that if these kids, exactly, because we know that these kids that really need help aren't getting the help.
Because those children cost them too much money. They cut into too many of their profits.
Yep, that's it. That's exactly it. And you know what? And I hate to be rude like this, but it's very hard to adopt a damaged child.
Well, it's not necessarily that it's hard to adopt a damaged child, but who wants a damaged child? I mean, who really does? I tell parents, when I'm talking to parents, I explain to them that it's like when you go to the grocery store and you're looking for a can of green beans. You see 2 cans of green beans on the shelf. You see one that's in pristine condition and one that's beat the hell and back. You're not going to pick up the can that's beat the hell and back. even though on the inside it may be exactly the same thing as the one that's in pristine condition, you're not going to pick it up because it looks wrong. And it's going to be something that you're going to feel like you have to work extra hard to be able to get to the good stuff. And it's just not worth it when it's not your child.
Right. This is a big decision that people make, or whoever does. So it's very easy. This just had child. They want to just move on. They move into a new community. They got a little girl there that's 3-4 years old. They picked her right out, sniped her from another family. They got them calling them mom and dad. They moved to Biloxi, Mississippi or something like that. They start their life over and boom, no one has a clue that they took these people from someone else. They took this child from someone else. They start a new life. The kids calling them mom and dad. I mean, is that part of it? Is that part of why, like we were just talking about, that the foster families are calling people mom and dad? Like, when the hell did that become acceptable? You know, even while you're trying to
the foster families and CPS are having the children call the fosters mom and dad.
Yeah.
And the biological parents, if the biological parents correct their children, the biological parents are being punished. They're being restricted as for their visitation. They're being yelled at in front of their kids by the CPS workers. They're being jumped. They're being jumped on by the judges because they're being told that they're trying to destroy the relationship the child's developing with the fosters. Yet here in Alabama, there's actually a law that was passed in 2020 that says that a judge can terminate a parent's rights based only on the relationship of the child to the fosters. Well, if they're sitting there actively trying to make sure that the child develops a relationship with the fosters, I mean, it's intentionally trying to keep me from getting my kids back.
That's intentionally trying to make you not talk too, because that's what they do. They just shut us down. They keep bleeping us. It's crazy. There's a 12% chance of reunification. You have a better chance of becoming a freaking astronaut than you do of getting your kids back if you have them taken by CPS. Think about that. You have a better chance of being a freaking astronaut. Those odds aren't supposed to be stacked.
Unless you're an abusive parent, that is.
What's that?
Unless you're an abusive parent, that is. Because if actually you are an abusive parent, then you're most likely going to get your kids back because there's not fosters that want your abused children.
Right. They go back to the abuser all the time. Or they go to the abuser, not back to. They actually give them to them.
Yes. Yeah, they take them out of a lot of good mothers' homes and give them to the damaged fathers.
And I've seen it the other way as well, where they'll take the children from a good father and give them to a drug addict mother.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter, who's the bad guy, who's the good guy. They just like to. It just seems to be that CPS enjoys seeing children get hurt.
Yeah, they don't have any couth. They don't care about your family. They don't care about the children, which is the biggest thing. I mean, isn't it funny that they're so worried about the foster family's rights? They don't give two shits about yours when they come and just rip them out of your home, eating dinner, having a good time, and all of a sudden these bastards come in and just take your kid right out of your house. And you're supposed to shut your mouth, adhere to what they say, pretend it's all right. Don't you tell your kids what's going on. They're not going to be the bad people. You need to be the bad person because you're the one that needs to rehabilitate because you did nothing wrong. And these foster people have feelings and you don't want to screw with them. And if you do,
the thing is if the fosters end up adopting the child, the fosters end up in the same situation that we end up in a lot of the times. I've talked to several fosters who have adopted children from foster care, and within 2 years of them adopting the children, CPS is coming after them to get those children.
That's it. Because I think this is why. Have you noticed that they are making them, even in kinship programs, all of this stuff, they're making everybody, they're making sure that everybody is getting these foster home licenses.
And the reason they're doing that is because when a child is in kinship care, CPS doesn't get any of the funds from ASPA. The ASPA funds only go to foster when they only get those funds when the children are put in foster care. If they're put in kinship care, then it doesn't count. So they have the kinship, they have the family members get a foster license so that they can get that money.
Yeah, so I'm right about that. So I'm right that
Yes.
that's what I've been thinking. Because even in my situation where my daughter is they had to become a foster home. There's no reason for that. If you're intending to just give this child back to their family like they're supposed to, like everything says, like like all of these things. Because here's the thing: Title IV funding says resource the family, resource and refurbish the family, get them back strong so that they can be a solid family unit. Like the first thing. And you're seeing these states that used to be reunification at all costs. Now it's, I'm sorry, I just forget this. Not the best interest, but it's exhausted all their, they've given enough reunification services. It went from at one point being solid, reunify it to the family deserves everything, to now it's give them a chance of reunification services. I forget exactly the definition of it, but it went for a reasonable amount of services. And that's what they determined, like you've had enough services now. We've given you a reasonable amount of services, so we're going to TPR you. Right? What the hell is a reasonable amount of services, especially when you get nothing
right
wrong?
I mean, reasonable efforts is not something that there's even a definition of. Right. It is very subjective.
I've had none.
Just like
at court, they said that my family didn't need services.
And in my case, I did every service at least 4 times, and I paid for every single one of my services except for one psychological evaluation and drug testing that I actually wasn't even supposed to do as per the initial contract with CPS.
And they do the shystiest things in those drug tests, so those aren't even accurate or even worth a damn. I mean, they use the least accurate means of testing you. They use screens, not tests. They're doing all of these other things. They're screwing with them all the time. Or what they're saying is they're saying, oh, you took a drug test, but I think you're using drugs. Even though you passed the drug test, they're still walking around saying that you're using drugs.
Darren, what they did with me, after they stopped doing drug tests, or they actually put me on color code so that I had to drug test as if I was a criminal.
Right.
And what they ended up doing is after they stopped doing color code on me, I started doing my own drug testing. I started having it done every 85 days. And when I came in and I presented to them that I had been doing the drug testing because they had, made some accusations somewhere in there one time, I decided to go ahead and maintain this. They come back with, well, why are you drug testing if you're not a drug addict? Obviously, if you're drug testing, then you're doing it so that you can maintain sobriety.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. People think that. All right, I'm going to take a time out here because Deidre's. Oh, she can't hear, so it wouldn't matter. Sorry, so I'll continue to type with her. But the thing is that they're taking, number one, what they do to people that are on drugs or that have accepted. Listen, first and foremost, if you are doing drugs, don't you ever damn tell them people that. Because if you think that you're proud of your recovery, which most people are, they're going to take that, they're going to twist it, they're going to use it against you, they're going to belittle you, they're going to make you feel like a tiny person, you're going to be a worthless person, and you're going to question everything that you've ever done in your life, and that's what their job is. So there's that, right? So that's a fact. The second thing they do is they remove your support system. The second you tell them that you're in services or whatever, they break your family apart. They pit your family against each other. They take your kid from you. They make your wife think that you're a domestic abuser. They do all of these things to make sure that you are not successful at your recovery. Which the thing is this: recovery isn't measured in an 18-month span or 15 out of 22. Recovery for an addict is their entire damn life. That's a fact. Now, I'm very thankful for the fact that the ADA has covered up now, and they come up and said, look, we cover these opiate recovery people. So, and I'm up in arms a little bit too. Is ADA helping CPS families or are they hurting them? like which way are they flipping the script by admitting to this to the ADA people like this, or are they helping? Do you have any thoughts on those?
I think it honestly, I don't think the ADA is trying to help, nor are they trying to hurt. I think they're kind of more of a neutral situation. Because I haven't seen any kind of evidence that shows the ADA is directly connected to CPS.
Right. Well, what I'm saying, they're saying that they will cover this stuff, and you know what? Mostly the stuff that I've seen, honestly, is off of TikTok, and then I go and I reference it myself. I haven't seen any straight out blasphemy. Like, oh, hey, we're gonna help. Everything I've seen is like these little snippets on TikTok that, make sure they come out. They're like, hey, if you do this, this, and this, they'll help you. The ADA with the opiate users, I found that one myself because I'm on pain pills my entire life. It's either that or I can lay in a bed crippled and die. So those are my choices, and that's just, the condition that I have is that. So,
what pisses me off is they sit there and they do all this shit to parents, and they drive parents to drugs and drinking and suicide. And I actually just attended the funeral today of one of my best friends, and he actually, the way I met him was because of his CPS case. Yep. Last Wednesday, he took his life because of Al Crow of the Talladega County, Alabama Sheriff's Department. He has been tormenting this man for 3.5 years, saying that he murdered his wife when all the evidence points to she committed suicide. And in this torment, this man brought CPS in. Chris Buchanan. He was jailed for 6 months, accused of custodial interference. CPS said that they had his children and he took his children from them. They never had his children. They put him in jail for 6 months. This man has not seen his children. The last time he saw his children was November 14th of 2022. He killed himself last Wednesday because of this. We had his funeral today, and his children were not allowed to attend.
What?
They were not allowed to attend. They have now lost both of their parents, and they were not allowed to attend their father's funeral.
Wow. Hey, that's giving me goosebumps. That's pissing me off right there. That doesn't.
They don't care. They don't care that these children need closure. They don't care that the psychological ramifications of having two parents kill themselves is going to end up with one of these 5 children inevitably committing suicide themselves. They don't give a shit as long as these kids make them money.
Yep. They're funding our government. That's what this is. Think about it. If you want to see what's going on in these states, open the checkbook, see how much money these states are taking in, and then go look at your statistics for how many kids are being taken from their homes, placed into foster care. Go ahead and check out the increased amount, because these numbers aren't getting smaller. They're getting way bigger. Maine has gone from 17 to 24%. Now, if they're spending all this money on reunification and services and all this other stuff, why are the numbers growing? They should be going the other way, right? We should have more reunification, more children back in their homes, but we have more people complaining and having a hard time with reunification services. 12% chance is not enough for a chance to reunify with your child. That should be 100% or 98%, or something like that. It shouldn't be almost the opposite of the spectrum on the bottom. It shouldn't. It shouldn't. And that's the way I see it.
CPS is so bad that in Alabama, I think it was 2 weeks ago, there was an article written that even the workers were making complaints about the director of CPS in Alabama, about how she's allowing for the agency to not work the way that it's supposed to, the way the law says it's supposed to, and all of these workers are having hell from parents because of it.
It's just, do they even listen? I mean, honestly, us three have been, I mean, it's just us three here. We've been in this system long enough. Do they even give a shit? Like this fight that we're on, that we're trying to fight and try to make noise for the rescue of our kids, let's just for say, because I know that our voices are getting heard. But does it matter in our cases? Like, are they any closer to giving us our kids back? Like I'm in the fight of my life now, and like I'm on the ticking clock, that. And we've also talked about some things that like we've all been working on and coming up together. But does it hurt or harm, or does it better our chance? Like, what is it that we're doing, and what does it mean to your family and you guys?
Well, Darren, I actually had a total of 13 judges on my case because of my big mouth, because of my raising hell. I had 12 judges recuse or disqualify. I got a CPS worker fired, or excuse me, a CPS attorney fired.
Nice.
And this is not one of the county attorneys. This was one of the ones from the state.
Uh-huh.
One of the state attorneys was fired because of my case. I've gotten a judge removed from the bench. I haven't gotten my kids back, but I have helped so many other families with all the hell that I've caused, all the hell that I've raised on my case. It's helped so many other families. So to answer your question, my kids may never come home, or my kids may not come home till they're adults. But we have so many other kids that, because of the stuff that I've done on my case, are home with their parents.
Right.
So, I mean, for me, it's a bittersweet victory.
Yep. And that's the thing. Like, the problem is with this whole movement thing is that it's, these parents are in it, and then they get their kids back and they fall out. And I understand that, because you fought so hard. These people fight so hard for their kids and their family, and, and they want to be done because they're tired. It's very tiresome. I mean, I've been doing this for years and I'm tired. I'm sure both of you are tired. I think pretty sure you guys have been in this longer than I have. And it's just, but you got to keep going. It's got to be kept going for others, because this isn't going to stop until we all show them. I mean, there's millions and millions and millions of people that have been affected in bad ways by CPS and in this country. And there's enough of us to make a difference, but we just got to pull it all together and make it so. So how do we do that? We have satellite groups. That's why I started abolishcps.com, because I try to figure out a way to drive these people into one spot, like corral them, if you will. Like, come on, guys, let's look good with a big strength in numbers. Keep your satellite groups, keep your organization names, keep your kids' t-shirts, all that stuff. I'm not trying to take over, trying to just make a spot where they look at it and they go, holy shit, that's a lot of them. Because people need to see that there is a lot of us. You do a search online, you get all kinds of little names, but if you put one spot that it's like, bang, this thing is huge, you're like, wow, we have something to worry about, guys.
The biggest problem with getting all these parents all in one spot is we have so many differences of opinions on how to approach things. We've got sovereign law, we've got common law, we've got, play checkers, we got play chess, we got so many different things. And until we have enough advocates that are willing to set aside their egos and come together and figure out how to have sovereign law and common law work together, then, it's going to be easy for CPS to keep doing what they're doing, because we are not united. We are divided. And a divided people is easily controllable.
Yep.
So that's why CPS can do this. That's why our government can do this, because we're too busy fighting amongst ourselves.
Yep.
And they're taking advantage of that.
Pecking for crumbs. Really? Because you know what? There is no number one or a victory or best spot to be in this cause. In this, there's not one. Like, you shouldn't be trying to be like, I don't want to be the number one outspoken person, or I want to be the one that does it. This is not about you, meaning you. I'm not saying that like that, but it's not about you and your up in, like what your inside needs are. This is about these kids, getting them home. I don't give a shit if I came up, like I have all these graphics that I do. I don't care who uses them. Use them, please. Use all of the graphics that you see of mine. As long as you're not selling stuff and with my numbers on them, then I don't care. Use them for pictures, everything you need. I don't care, because it just helps with getting the things out there. You know what I mean? Like that's it. Like use the stuff. We should all just be a team like this. Don't worry. Put your egos at the door. Get these goddamn kids home.
Exactly. I've said it a million times. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit if my name is ever, ever, ever remembered. It doesn't matter to me at all. All I care about is doing what is my responsibility to do, and that's to try to help my fellow man in a situation where they can't help themselves. Period. The end. Whether my name is remembered or my name is drugged through the mud, I don't care. I'm doing what I need to do. I'm doing what I was put in this fight for. Period. The end. And if everybody would just sit here and say the only reason I'm here to help fight, and stop looking for accolades, then maybe we'd get somewhere.
Yep. We said it on the show the other day, the show I'm on with Dr. Fowler. I said, listen, like we're talking about, like, what is it going to take, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, well, what we're going to need is we need a senator, we need this. And everybody says that. But you know what? Fuck it. Maybe we are them. We are it. We are one. Stop waiting, because we are here. It is us. So let's move forward with this thing. Let's become the image and become what we need to be to bring the people. Build it, they will come. So let's build this thing.
Exactly. I mean, I've run for office once before. And we need to start getting up there. We're talking about we need senators, we need congressmen, we need politicians. So let's shut up and stop trying to get the ones. And how about we get into office? I've already run for office once. I'll be running for office again. So why don't we have other people running for office? I mean, I've seen Cash Jackson ran for office. I know that Kimberly Lowe is running for office. I ran for office. But literally, I can count on one hand how many parents have actually gotten up and ran for an office. We need more parents that are willing to run for office. If we get these parents in office, then we can start making those changes from that perspective, from that angle.
I agree with that 1,000%. I mean, we need people that are like-minded. We need people that are willing to leave their names and their egos at the door. We need people who haven't lost their kids yet to understand that this is real and that they can be next, and we need them to help us, because only them and they will be able to speak for the ones that are saying this will never happen to me. I used to be one of those. I used to be this will never happen to me. If you told me your kid was taken, I'd be like, whoa, okay, have a good day, Jack Joe. You must be an awful person. I was very ignorant, and I'm ashamed of that. Very ashamed of that, because maybe I could have done something different back then that could have helped it, so we're not at this point now. But we can't sit there and change the past. I can't make up for lost time. I can't do any of those things. All I can do is work hard and fast now to try to get things better so that I can get my daughter home and your daughter home and everybody's kids home, at a rate that, because we're not any younger, the earth's not getting any safer, and God knows what the hell tomorrow will bring. So this needs to come at a quick pace. This is what I say. In my bill that I've written a bill that outlines the whole thing. And I say this: scuttle the ship. All of it. Gone. No more funding. Anything that even says CPS in its sentencing, it's out of here. The people that work for there, no longer do they get to work there anymore. And we start from zero. And you know what? We'll have an emergency, an emergency committee that can be formed, that can watch over what's going on until this system is rebuilt. But I don't even want to plan to rebuild it, because that's where corruption again will insert itself. Let's let this thing build on its own the way that we need it to build and distribute itself. We can't come in and be like, oh, well, we got to do this, this, and this, and everybody. It's going to be the same way. Scuttle it, come up with a team, and then when this thing collapses, we are there to make sure that kids are protected. And as we need to expand, we expand it, and that's it. That's all we got to do. It's very simple. It's very, very simple. And what I say is this. I say you take the funding that's in those funds that are left over, because there's billions of dollars in there. There's billions. And you separate that throughout families that have had their kids taken, and their kids and the kids themselves that have been in the foster home, and all that. Everybody that's been involved in CPS, you can divvy that money up and give it to them. Give it to every one of them, because they all deserve it, especially the kids that were taken. The parents, yeah, they deserve something too. Those kids that have had their lives ruined because of whether it was an irresponsible parent or not, it doesn't matter. Their lives were screwed up by these assholes, way that they came in, tore them away, and what they've done to them. So they need that money. And that's it. That's all we got to do. That's all we got to do.
I think that it's, we really need to, insurrection is long past due. It's time that we stood up. We succeeded from Britain for a reason, and it was something small compared to what we are dealing with today. It was just taxes.
Right.
Why the hell haven't we done the same thing for our children?
Right.
It's time to get up and not let this government do what they're doing. It is time to get off our asses, exercise our Second Amendment rights, and go after the son of bitches that keep doing this to our children.
Yep. Hold them accountable.
I can hear you.
Hey, there you are. We can hear you, Deidre. Welcome.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know what I did. Hi, Kim. Sorry, I interrupted you.
I'm just the stress and relief off of me of having to do this for you. We have to get you in here. I'm like, no, she can't go. What's up, Deidre? How are you? We were just talking about, we think that this whole system is a piece of crap and we need to get rid of it. And, that the government is really just screwing everybody over, and our kids are being stolen and kidnapped and all that stuff. So what do you guys say?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I just messaged Melissa, I think yesterday or the day before, because, I always still watch all of your guys' shows because, of course, I still enjoy you guys. But, ironically, when I kind of decided to, 86 myself from the platform of Mr. Davis, when he got a little butthurt that I kind of didn't show up for the seminar, he kind of took a leave of absence, it seems. And I was telling Melissa that, as much as, I personally enjoy listening to you and now Melissa and even Kim and stuff, it's just, he's going to start losing all of his followers if he doesn't keep coming on the show, because as much as we all want to hear each other because we are going through this, we want to have, his advice as an attorney. And it just kind of sucks that he's kind of taken a leave of absence. But I think it's also because of all the politics and the drama that it's kind of unfolded to be with, Mike being this way and Miss G being that way. And, now Stacy kind of coming in and, obviously showing her aggressiveness towards you when you were there with Miss G. And it's kind of just, it defeats the whole purpose of why we're all trying to still do these shows. And that's kind of the frustrating part. But other than that, I mean, I miss doing the shows with like you and Mr. Davis and stuff, because I thought we had kind of a good thing going there for a while. But,
We had a great flow and it was fun. But
and I think he enjoyed himself, I never saw him laugh so much. Like he was kind of like showing a different side of him, which I think a lot of people were enjoying. And then,
that different side of him is something that he has inside of him that he's trying to get out. I think really he needs something to be happy about. That man has had a tough life, and he deals.
And see, whenever Miss G, I get it. I kind of took. I took an MIA a couple times, but at the same time, you should be looking at it from the point of what I am going through as a mom and have lost my kids, and the fact that, when I hit the bed and I just don't have that strength or energy to pull myself out for a few days. Yeah, okay. I do kind of screw up in a lot of things in that kind of part of my life. And then I finally realized that, hey, you know what? My kids are still out there in this world and I got to just, pick myself up and keep going. But then at the same time, in this kind of instance, I felt like he was forced in a way to kind of call Miss G last minute for that seminar that Saturday morning. And maybe he was mad at me for having to bring her back into this world, because then I could just see from that point forward, it was just so obvious. Every time she'd come on the show, it was like, not only was she trying to prove a point to be like, I got my spot back kind of in a way, but also she would just constantly argue with him. And it's just like, man, like, is he the attorney or are you the attorney? Like, it just was not like a good flow. And then next thing you know, he just started disappearing, and then you were having to do the show like by yourself, and it was like, I don't know, but whatever. I kind of asked.
I mean, I'm
kind of asked to come back, but Miss G kind of made her stance be known, I think, to Mr. Davis, and Grace kind of told me that in a nutshell, and the fact that she just does not like me for some reason.
Well, because
And,
it's like this.
whatever.
We were just talking about this. It's not for anybody to be the star, and that's
what I'm saying.
Right.
And she always talks about these certain individuals, though, that supposedly have it out for her and that use Mr. Davis's platform to make money and to publicize themselves. And I thought she was always kind of referring to me, maybe in a way. And I'm thinking, how the hell does she think that I'm making money off of doing my little show? Or how the hell does she think that I'm trying to come on and like attack her with all these different like screen names, or like, I don't know, she just thinks too much into it, and she's too worried about people that she thinks are coming after her, when in all honest reality, I think that's what she's doing to everybody else. And what she calls like these flying monkeys and all this kind of bullshit. And I'm thinking, all we're trying to do is come on and fight for our kids because we've lost our kids, and in a way let other parents that maybe haven't gotten as far get the information that we got too late, but maybe get it sooner so that they don't get their kids taken. Like, that's all I ever wanted to do on this platform. And for some reason, I just feel like she always looked at me as like a threat in a way. And kind of like sometimes I'd have to take a step back and be like, okay, I'm kind of flattered then if she feels that I'm a threat to her. But in all honesty, I don't fucking care about you.
What was being threatened? What's
that?
What's being threatened?
No, like it was kind of obvious in the fact that whenever I would come on the show with you, it was because she was kind of on a timeout. You get it? That's where she was kind of feeling threatened. Like Mr. Davis would use me to get back at her in a way, and I didn't like that. But that's just what Mr. Davis does in a joking kind of like, I'm gonna fuck with you because she gets all her feathers ruffled, and he kind of likes it, But
there's no winners in this situation. Not even.
No, that's what I mean.
Right.
But Miss G will never look at it like that.
So there should never be a reason to be threatened, because there's
exactly though. But you should see the way that she attacks me. She literally attacked me that day.
I'm well aware of everything that goes on, but I'm saying that nobody should be like that, because there's no winners in this circle right now. Every one of us are having our own fights with our own things, and we're trying to come together as everyone to make sure that this thing stops. And for anybody to try to stop any one of us because of whatever, that's wrong. Step off then.
Well, look at how Stacey even kind of still tries to do it to you in a way, because I think she knows how Miss G truly feels about you, which we all know. And even though Miss G tries to play, her cards the right way when it's convenient for her and say, oh, there's Darren and Mary, and, I love them so much and I've known them for so many years. I'm like, wait, hold on. Darren hasn't even fucking been going through this for that many years. So don't sit there and act like you know him and his wife for like all these years and how they're so sweet and this and that. And the next thing you know, the next day you're talking to Stacey about how probably you can't stand Darren and, he fell asleep on the show or whatever shit she probably talks about you. Because Stacey, she can't hide it, obviously. And she likes to like get you all ruffled whenever she can too. And it drives me crazy because I still watch the shows and I so badly just want to be like, you two need to slow your roll and quit acting like you just are doing everything right, Look at how much you tried to take in Melissa, even though I know Melissa's smarter than that, but still, it's just stupid and pointless. And I think everybody else is picking up on it. And it's sad because Mr. Davis is not seeing that his platforms is not doing what it should be doing in a way, for that matter, and it's sad. Look at all the viewers. Nobody watches the show as much as, I'm sorry to say, but as much as they used to watch it when it was like us three there for a while.
No, absolutely not. I think
it never really hits 100 anymore. The views, maybe like 70, if that.
That was nice, and we had a good flow, and Davis was loose and relaxed. He was having a good time with, and not that it's something to have a good time with, but you know what I think? I think that was like somebody's, look at Mandy when she came on that time. That's where everything came to a head. There was a place for where she could go and she was in this thing and she could come and she could watch us and like feel like she was part of a team and with one of us.
Well, and it actually like made me feel like, if she has no problem coming on and saying how much like she's been following the shows because of like people like you and me, and even when you told me that one time, like I think it was your mom, you said that like when I like disappeared for the first time and then I came back and your mom said something like, "Oh yay, teacher's back, I like watching it when it's you guys, That just made me feel so good, and it has really stuck with me, and it made me feel like, that's why I like doing these shows, because other people enjoy us and they feel the way we talk. But then when Miss Cheek comes on, it's more about like when she went to the dentist that day and talking about her fucking experience of dentist all day. Who fucking gives a shit? Talk about the stuff of what we're going through. And she never really wants to talk about her case because she always wants to talk about it in third person. Like, we all know her case and her story. Like, get over it. Just either speak about it like we do or don't speak about it. Like, it's just, I don't know. She just kills the whole vibe of what I feel like Mr. Davis is trying to do and what we're trying to do.
Well, right.
And so
it's like this. It's like the seminars. Listen, do you remember the show when we came up and he asked us to do this, and then I came up with a thing and he says, "Darren, I love what you said about the seminar thing, and we're gonna
yeah.
And ever since
and then I dropped the ball that weekend. I was supposed to host it with you, and I kind of fucked up. But whatever. I mean, it is what it is.
But nonetheless, right, it is what it is. But it was like people were clawing at the bit to come back in and fight against me. Like, I don't, fine, you want to do this, go do it. Whatever, to make you feel more important, go do it. Because that's not what's important to me. What was important to me was building something that people could come to and hear these lawyers give different points, give different ideas, give different everything, so that they can all get educated, so we can beat these cocksuckers. That's what that was all about.
Well, yeah, and that's the main reason why when Melissa came around and I saw how knowledgeable and valuable Melissa is, and the fact that she was willing to kind of co-host my show with me, so that when I did, decide to go a little bit MIA, that she was going to, still run the show with me. And then all of a sudden, when I did that thing with the seminar, I wanted to come on the show again with Melissa, and that's when Grace had to sadly tell me, like literally, I kept trying to join the show with Melissa because she sent me the invite, and Grace had to keep kicking me off of the show. And then finally she had to say, Mr. Davis said you are not allowed on any and all platforms going forward. And I was like, okay. And then that's when she told me in enough words that he's a little bitter because you didn't show up to the seminar and you didn't really let him know. And then I explained myself through Grace, but you know what? It is what it is too. And if Mr. Davis wants to hold a grudge against me for that, then whatever, But I've noticed he hasn't even been on the show anymore.
He hasn't, I don't know what his thing is, and hopefully he's out. I know he's busy in the cases. Hey.
Which is fine, but don't keep dragging people along, making them think that they're going to come on and talk to him and get his advice, and then have to last minute say, "Oh, emergency." Either he's going to plan on being on there or he's not.
Yeah, but I think people are starting to understand now the guests that we do have that are coming in. They know that Mr. Davis hasn't been around. So it's been like I had a guest the other day that was like, "Hey, are you okay with me interviewing you and this on there?"
I think it was the twins, right? Is that the ones you're talking about?
Twins too. Well, so okay, couple says. So it's good. I mean, it just sucks because Mr. Davis is the man, and he's not.
Well, because that's where people can actually get their, legal questions answered from him personally, which is cool. But I don't know. But yeah, no, to answer your question, I mean, I'm still, I guess, breathing and kicking, but I don't know if Melissa filled you in a little bit on my personal life. Is this live, where everyone can hear, or it's just us four?
Yeah, we're right out. We were airing it out there, lady.
Oh, shit. Maybe I shouldn't have said everything I said then.
You know what? It's like this. Look at this. It's like this. Who cares? This is about the kids.
Now I'm really thinking about what I said. I'm like, wait a minute, I thought it was just us four.
You said nothing that wasn't obvious and been stated before.
Well, I guess maybe I would have thought a little bit more before I spoke. I thought it was just us four.
There's nobody watching us. So
I know. I don't think I've ever heard of this restream. I don't know. I'm like, why can't you guys just use Zoom and be simple? I'm not technically savvy. Yeah, technology savvy.
Yeah, this is the real stuff. This is a plug for recently now. Look at this. This is professional stuff.
Oh wow, yeah. Leave it to you. I'm still waiting on my headset you were supposed to send me and tell me about some green background or whatever I was supposed to use.
Check this. Yeah, watch this. As a matter of fact.
Oh shit.
Today for you. Where is it? I got a kitty now.
Oh, you got a cat?
Yeah,
I know. I heard about I heard about your pup. I was watching the one show where somebody, I think you were doing something, and then Miss G got offended and said, "What are you doing?" And you're like,
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Some, "You're like my dog's dead or something." And then I started crying over. I'm echoing.
Green Deezer that I ordered for you. Still in the bag. Still was waiting for you. So it's true. See, here it is in the bag and ready to be shipped for you. And it's you never look at that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
we're
I'll
live.
have to.
We're
I'll
live
have.
with
I'm.
Kim and Melissa.
Am I echoing? I feel like I'm echoing.
I don't know where that's coming from. I hear it coming from you.
You did something when you went to look for that green thing, and then it started echoing. You have too many plugs everywhere, Darren.
So the kitty stepped on something. That's what happened. See, there's a little
Oh,
kitty.
blame it on the cat. Blame it on the brand new kitten.
Oh, stop. She did. She stepped on something.
But no, I just wanted to come on and say hi to you guys because I actually really enjoyed Melissa and Kim. I've also always enjoyed having you on. You were on one of my shows, actually. But I should be getting myself ready to go to work because I should have already been at work at 11, and it's already 11:20. So I'm going to continue listening, but I'm going to like take myself off the speaker and stuff. But I wanted to come on and say hi because I miss you guys and know that I'm always watching your shows. And yeah, maybe you can get me to come back on one of your guys' shows again as a host. I'm a co-host with you if I'm allowed.
Yep, absolutely. You know that's fact, and that will come.
Okay. All right, Melissa and Kim. I'm going to let you guys go, but I'll keep listening to you guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye, guys. Have a good night. Bye, Melissa.
See ya.
All right. That was Deidre. Everybody, we love Deidre. Oh, Kitty's eating some bread. Kitty's eating bread. Is that good for them?
Just so you want
She
to.
just
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I got you.
Okay.
Yep, you're here.
Yeah, because
Me and you.
for some reason it kept muting.
Yeah, imagine that. Look, listen, Kitty is eating bread over there in the corner.
Oh, Kitty's eating bread.
Yeah.
It's all edible.
Yeah, hey, I mean, at least finally we're getting an animal to eat, because the last time we saw one of mine, it wasn't
Well,
eating.
you know, when Deidre was talking about Miss G and her attack and trying to divide and conquer, I mean, that's absolutely factual because Miss G had actually essentially told me that if I didn't write an email to Vincent, you, Darren, she was going to go out of her way to back to the show.
Oh, really? That's very interesting. You know, it's funny because I feel kind of like, and Mary brought this to my attention the other day, I feel like Mr. Davis is waiting for an email from me. And I think that I'm going to write him that email. And, you know, we've all talked about this before. This is not about anything other than helping. You know, I've never asked Mr. Davis for a damn thing. I've paid Mr. Davis for some services. I've never said to him on the shows. I've never asked him out of the shows. I've never said anything whatsoever bad about the man, about him. I've never talked down about Miss G in public ever. I've never done any of those things. Now, they can say, Miss G can say she's got recordings of me and everything. Now, have I griped about Miss G? Sure, I'm no different than any other person. But I would tell her to her face if I heard it, but we can't hear these things. So, you know, to attack someone like myself, and clearly now this is very clear that this is an attack on me, you know, especially for her to do that to a person that is doing nothing but trying to help a cause, children, you know, all of these things, that's sick. That's very sick. You know, like,
yeah, no, I pretty much told her that, you know, I'm not going to speak out against you. Whether she don't like any of your little flaws, we all got flaws. I mean, heck, Liz is pretty freaking annoying. She don't know about kids.
You know, that's my sleeping pills right there, right?
Right.
So,
Yeah, hell, a good sleeping pill is listening to Miss G.
Yeah, that's it. We shouldn't be doing any of that. We should be standing up for one another as unity, as a single unit, and fighting and strong and supporting one another. That's what this needs to be. This is why Kim and I were just saying, like this. There's nobody that's the Melissa, you and I can remember when you were waiting to get on the show when Mr. Davis wanted to be on the show, and I don't even remember exactly how you and I got contacted, and I was doing one of my first shows here, out of the box, and you came on that show. Yeah, so Candace, and we talked for like 2 hours on one of these things, and that was it. And then you were like, you can get me on Mr. Davis' show, and like you were so excited about it. And now look where you are. You have pretty much run what you do. But do you hear me sitting around saying, I'm the one that brought Melissa here. I brought Melissa. That's this shit. All I say is, good. Melissa's great. She's getting information out. People are excited. They're happy. That's it. That's all I say. And I don't have any reason to say any shit about you. But like, imagine if these roles were reversed into someone else's situation. This is what made me so mad about the mic thing. Like, what the fuck?
No, I mean, at this point, I'm getting more on my show than, I said at this point, which show's getting the most views and stuff. And Men in the Trenches and my show are just about tying up, and we're getting both more than Vincent's show's getting, because people would give up waiting for Vincent.
Right.
I'm wondering if him not showing up is if he gives gives information to a person in a state where he's not currently working. Someone could be trying to argue practicing without a license because of the fact that he maintains a license for another state. Kind of like if you go up on where some kid gets on a bicycle and you're just Joe Blow, the concerned citizen. Well, there's nothing they can do to you because you're just Joe Blow, the concerned citizen, if you try to help the kid get hurt. But if you're a doctor, yeah, it's way above it. So some of what may be going on might just be that he's infringing on his ability to practice in other states, and it's putting him at risk.
Right. That very well could be. I mean, I wish I had an answer for anybody if anybody is watching this, and I'm sure people are. Like I can only see what's on Restream, but I can also see that on my Facebook there's been 17 views. So I don't know, but I don't. It's hard, and the thing is that you and I really single-handedly have trucked along his platform without haste, without dealing with bullshit, and just continued to spread our word of helping these people. That's all we've done, or griping, whatever we want to do.
Yeah, and I think that we're slowly reaching more and more people in the right kind of tones, because now it's parents reaching into us. It's whole advocacy group.
Yeah.
We don't keep saying the same thing. How do we get heard? How do we get help for our parents? Who do we talk to? Who do we reach out to? Like the one group, they're like, well, we've tried calling Connie at least 10 times. She won't even call us back. Now, this is a group that works with families right there, literally within miles of Connie's office. And Connie don't want to get involved.
It's the showpiece. You're too good. Now, I get that these people are busy. Like, we'll see if anybody is on here. I'm putting up the number right now. If anybody's watching us, they can go ahead and call in. They got something to say. Let's see if that works. I don't know. We'll see. But the stardom thing needs to stop. That's what's hurting this movement right now, is that nobody can get out of their own way to be the person. And I tried to do that with Mr. Davis. Actually, I'll show you exactly when I tried to do that. I can let me pull it up here. I'll show you when I directly asked Mr. Davis to be the man. And I don't know what, I don't know if he's sitting back and wondering if, maybe he's making a move to politics. Who knows? I don't know. But this is what I had asked him that day. And it was soon after that he stopped, like he wasn't going on the show. So maybe he's trying to put himself in a political forum, like, and
Yeah, but I
he's
mean,
basically,
he ain't even really getting involved anymore. She's kind of taking a back seat to any of the shows where she has to show with you.
mm-hmm.
Because she
Yeah,
already knows Vince ain't coming on, so she ain't even bothering.
yeah, I don't know. It all sucks when the whole end game is supposed to be for the kids, and it's supposed to be for the families, and it's supposed to be for me, and it's supposed to be for you, it's supposed to be for Kim, it's supposed to be for Mary, it's supposed to be for all of us to help us get our kids back. Period. And there should be no conflict between any of us with that. If your idea is better than mine, then God damn it, let's do it. I shut my mouth and listen and tell me what we got to do, because this has nothing to do with stardom, notoriety, who's better than who, whatever. Has nothing to do with that at all. Never.
Well, I've been talking with Kim. We've been talking about doing a walk at the Capitol.
Yep.
Real quick, I have to chime in on that note. Did Mr. Davis say recently, when I was still on the show, Darren, that he wanted us to all start meeting together, like maybe every few months or something, in person? And I started giving him so much hack because I was like, wait, I'm actually going to get to see you in person? Like, what? Really?
Yep.
And like, he was like really like acting like he was serious about it. And then all of a sudden he goes MIA himself. It's like, he didn't even want to like...
That was when we brought Melissa around, because Melissa's the one that offered him the Alabama thing. Remember? And you said,
yeah, I know. And then he was going to be coming to like, up in your area. Yeah, exactly. No, I know. It's just like, I don't know. He rubs me the wrong way sometimes, because like, I'll think he's one type of person. And then when he does certain things or says things, it's just like, he throws me for a curveball. And I'm just like, I don't really think I even get this man to this day. Like, I understand he has the heart and the passion to help, families and fight for kids. And if I had all the money, I'm sure he would probably, maybe, hopefully win me, my kids back like he does many of the other families. But at the end of the day, I still question his intentions sometimes, because, I know of another person that he flat out just helped because, Miss G advocated for her. And I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. And she got her kids back, and then she disappeared from the show. So it's like, I don't know. There's just so many different situations where you think you know somebody, and then you just don't know. So I don't know. But anyways, that's all I had to say. I think what?
That's when I was doing the clips of the shows and everything. Like, that was fun. It was a good time, and I bet you that show was going to twist. There was good chemical, like whatever chemistry. It was fun. Like, then we brought Melissa in, and that was like another piece of the pie. So that was very good. And that was, and then the machine started getting it be too big, too many people coming in, too many people looking for other things. They're all, like, it grew big real fast, and then these people shuttered it. And once they introduced conflict to it, then it lost its intentions, and it lost its wholeness. And that was it, because the reason it was good flow and everything, because there was no conflict. There was no bickering. There was no, this or that. And certain people have been brought through, and then it turns into that. And then it just completely diminishes the purpose of the show and the flow of it and the chemistry and all those things.
And I mean, like, the main thing that we're all supposed to be doing is fighting not only for our children, but in the way to let other parents get this information that is so valuable that, of course, me, you, and many other parents don't have or know about until it's too late. And that is just the sole purpose of it. Now, who's watching, who's making comments, who's being fictitious screen names, I don't even ever pay attention to it, because number one, I didn't even know how to use it for the longest, or even see the comments. But it's, again, those kind of people are just paying too much attention to the stuff that's not even purposeful for this. And then that's what they're going to get out of it. And the fact of, I don't think I ever once said anything on my show about anything in that kind of topic, because, again, that's not even on my mind. I'm more looking up like the newest news article that has come out in CPS, or, like this or that, instead of, worrying about how many views I'm going to get, or who's trying to come in on my show and make comments or something, because that's not what it's supposed to be about, So I don't know. But anyways, I just thought it was funny that you said that something about, and it made me think of, wait a minute, weren't we all supposed to start meeting together?
Right, like that
Hey,
was looking
Deidre,
towards the
when you were
future.
coming on the show,
Yeah,
I actually, so Miss G had randomly calling me at like 2 o'clock in the morning my time. Um,
yeah,
yeah, bored at midnight. Anyways, I said something to her. I said, I said it's not fair. I said I came on just to help cover for Deidre's show, being that she has a busy work schedule and everything. And I told her that I thought that you was kind of getting the shit end of the stick. And she's like,
yeah,
"Oh, I don't have a problem with Deidre. I love Deidre. Deidre's welcome back on. She's just got to call
yeah.
Vincent."
Bullshit. I call bullshit. Just like Darren said, I'd say it to her face, meaning, every time that she said something
Well,
mean
you
to
know
me,
what?
and the fact of she told me I was trying to be like her and all this kind of stuff, I'm like, I don't even know where you're getting this from. But again, like, have a nice
Trying to.
day, move along. I always tell my kids, two wrongs don't make a right. Seriously, if you want to go that route, I'm not going to bring myself down that route to be with you. So carry on. If you think you got the last laugh, then so be it. Laugh away. It's like I want my kids
Well,
back. I don't care about this kind of stuff.
Right. And that's it. That's
So,
what I'm trying to build with the ballercps.com. Like, I want to build
I mean,
the
when do you
real.
honestly ever hear her talk about her kids and how bad she wants them back, or her personally? She'll talk about them in a third person kind of like way because she's so like secretive about it. Meaning, okay, if your case is still open, I get it,
actually,
but
to put something kind of out, you really don't like her.
well, yeah,
So
I
her
mean, it's
thing,
kind of obvious. I mean, I don't even think her kids like her, to be honest with you. I mean, she talked about a graduation of one of her kids in a third person kind of way, and then she made too many mistakes of basically making it obvious that she's talking about herself. But make a long story short, the stepmom showed up, and basically the daughter didn't want anything to do with her. She wanted to be over with the stepmom and the dad. And then she got offended and left early at her own kid's graduation. I mean, what does that go to show you? Like, kids are going to be with who they want to be with,
well,
if they have the
so
option.
Miss G called me the other night, and she was asking me questions because her daughter went over to a friend's house, was supposed to be at one address, went to another address. She was supposed to pick the daughter up at 10 o'clock. The daughter wasn't where she was supposed to be picked up at. So the daughter got stuck having to take a bus home in
Oh my
downtown
gosh.
LA at
Oh my
midnight.
gosh.
And she's like, "Well, maybe I'll go get her." Nah, she needs to learn her lesson. Screw it.
Oh
Let her find her.
wow. Oh wow. Yeah, she really loves her kids. Nowadays on the metros in downtown LA, even if you have like a weapon on you, you still should feel a little threatened with everything that's going on. I mean, good lord, and she's a young
Right.
girl late at night, at midnight. I mean, come on.
Hell,
Who's
I'm
the
from
real
the
parent?
Detroit area, and the monorail they have in Detroit, I won't hop on it at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, let alone midnight.
Well, that's what I mean. Even in the broad daylight nowadays, what things are happening, like just anywhere. But in all honesty, it's like you're gonna let your daughter at midnight in downtown LA, and then you want to come on these shows and then talk about what other people are doing with their kids and like knock them for things. I mean, that's what I mean. It's just my biggest pet peeve in life is fake people. Meaning, if you're gonna be a bitch one day and then be my friend the next, I don't want to come to you on the third date and wonder if I'm gonna get bitch or friend. If you're gonna be a bitch all the time, so I know what I'm gonna get. And I just it's those kind of people that just irk me because they don't even think they know what they want to be anymore. And it's just. And then to think that she still wants to come on a platform like this and preach like she's got all the almighty and when she really gets on her religious kick. But again, this is public and I don't want to act like I'm speaking about somebody else, so I should probably shut up myself and go to work because then I'm kind of being a hypocrite myself, then, right? But
No,
no, I
because
mean that's
this
just
is
Not
like this.
young, bringing a little
Hey, what
shit.
is that? TMK? What is that? What is it? The TMZ? This is
TMZ.
like the
Yeah, I love that
TMZ.
show with Chris.
Yeah,
Or what's the guy's name?
yeah, yeah. We're just airing
Whatever
out
his
the
name is.
TMZ.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
we're just letting everybody know the inside scoop on things. That's all.
What everyone
Like
else
we're
is
just
probably really feeling or thinking. Like that's why I liked when Mandy kept coming on because she was like one of those real ones that you could tell that always watches the shows that she would really tell you what everyone else is probably thinking when you say stuff.
that's true. That's very very true. And like she made that whole thing very real. That like it was more than just an information thing. It was an actual something for her. Like it was a real life, real, you know, place for her to
Like
go
it
and
almost made, yeah, exactly. And it made me feel like I had more of a purpose. And I think you probably did feel the same way of doing the show, knowing that people like look forward to the show at night or like, or I think what really also hit me was when that one girl that I think even tried to host one day with, I think it was you and Miss G, she kind of talks real loud and they called her
yeah,
retarded and what's her
yeah,
name?
yeah,
But anyways, no, she made a comment about me one day when Melissa was taking over my show, and all of a sudden Melissa tried to say it in a nice way, in respect of me, and saying, basically I'm going to be doing the show now, and Deidre, and then she's like, wait, what happened to Deidre? And she's like, well, just work kind of got in the way, and I'm thinking, oh, that kind of made me feel good too, like knowing that people truly do come on and come on for you and look forward to you, and so I don't know, I guess Mr. Davis doesn't see that part of it. I don't know, whatever. But at least Melissa took my spot and is a good influence and I think very valuable and knowledgeable. So if that's who was going to replace the show, then I'm more power to it.
that's
But
awesome.
okay, I'll shut up now and I'll keep listening.
Okay.
Why are you guys up
Hey,
so
you know
late, anyways? It's midnight here. What time is it there? 3 o'clock?
what else are we gonna do?
Yeah, shit.
Uh,
That's what we do. We eat and breathe this stuff, Deidre.
hey,
Oh man.
we're doing a show for the people over in the Philippines because they should be waking
Oh
up
Yeah,
about.
god.
Grace. You know, it's
By the
funny.
way, don't ever let Melissa get you on the phone. Did Melissa tell
Mary,
you that we spent Darren, did Melissa tell you we
Mary,
spent 4 hours on the phone one night?
that doesn't surprise me.
Yes, I did.
Um,
That was my drive. That was my drive.
Oh, oh my
Deidre,
gosh, I was cracking up. Mary said
Mary just comes
what?
around. Mary just come around the corner. She's like, "Is that Deidre?"
Oh. Yes, it's me. I miss everyone. Well, not everyone, but the ones I miss. But
So,
yeah, no. Keep doing what you're doing though, Darren. Because for a second there, I thought Stacy was going to get you 86 that one night. I was cracking up when she
okay, let's talk
when
about
she
that.
left the show.
Let's talk about that for a minute. You watched it. What do you
Oh,
think?
oh
No,
man.
from the right and wrong standpoint, take everything aside. Right and wrong. Who was right and who was wrong?
I already told you she has it out for you already because of what she's heard from Miss G on the sidelines, and she can't hide it. It's too obvious. Like that one time when she started to speak something, and then you said something else, and then she goes, "No, actually, I'm going to speak this because da da da," and you're like, "Yeah, you're pretty good at that," or something like that. And she's like, "Yeah, I am good at it," or whatever. And I'm like, "Oh fuck, you're joking." Oh fuck.
Right.
Wait, what did Mary say?
Mary's always watching these. You know, like when I'm doing them, she hits me when I either fall asleep or I say
I
something
can
wrong.
tell sometimes. Yeah. Or like that
Well,
one time that
essentially,
you actually decided to think you were standing up for yourself and saying something about Mary.
no,
You're like, yeah, like those wives that think that they want to just tell you how to do your show and do this. I'm thinking, oh, Darren, you overstepped your boundary, and then the next day you're like, yeah, I
don't do
know,
it.
I that's a big
Yeah.
time. I was like, ooh, Darren's getting ballsy tonight. He's going to regret that. And then sure enough, the next day when I asked you about it, you're like, oh, yeah, I know. I already know. I know. I missed it.
I'm not stupid. I know my bread's buttered.
Oh, shoot. But that was funny. But see,
Yeah.
that's what the people like. They like the real side of people, meaning like, we're not going to sugarcoat something and say all this holy rolling kind of bullshit. I mean, I understand. I believe, there's somebody up there, and as far as faith goes, but I'm not going to start doing the whole, like, I don't know. Just sometimes it's too much with all what some people do, and it steers away from, again, we just want our kids back.
It takes away from the. It takes away for some people. It withdraws them because they're thinking this
Yes.
isn't part of it. Their faith is not a part of it. So I get it that faith is a part of it, and it does need to stay a part of it. But when you start drilling that, people hate religion.
And just goes on and on and on. And then God forbid you say one little thing that might not keep that flow going. And she just like dead stops you like, wait, what did you say? Oh no, that's not what that is. These are these kind of this and that. And I'm thinking, oh boy, here we go.
I'm
End
a
the show.
I'm a minister, and I'm like, man, I don't know. That's like, come on, lady. That there's sometimes it's just too much. You're either offending people or you're not. You bring religion into these things, and you've turned the focus away from the children and brought it into a religious argument, and that's not right, because the reality is these kids are in a foster home and we're right here. So what do we do? You know what I mean? Like, yes, it's the faith thing, but the reality of it too, it's and really in this stuff, it's every man for themselves. It really is, but it's not supposed to be. It shouldn't be. Because if we can come together solidly as a group and fight as a group without this bullshit, then we will be so
well, in the
much
way
more
that you
successful.
pose the question, so going back to Stacy, in a way, the way that you would pose a question, like the other night when you said something about that husband, where you're like, well, wait a minute though, has this husband actually been proven like basically guilty? And like the mom said, like, no, like it just all kind of is just accusations, and alleged, child abuse from in the past. And you're like, okay, well, that's all I'm trying to say. Like, what if this guy is truly innocent? And Stacey just would not have it for anything. And again, it's because she's speaking from a personal level because of what her ex did to her kids. But again, you can't be like so one-sided when you're doing such a platform,
Because
exactly.
I was doing hellacious things, and it was not that.
Yeah.
It wasn't that. So it's just like that, and I felt bad for
And
that
even
lady
the mom kept
because
saying, she kept thinking back to the age frame of technically when this would have happened and trying to picture it in her mind and thinking her husband works, third shift. How could she possibly have been in the bed with her dad during the day? Like, and even the mom couldn't even really pinpoint when this could have possibly happened. But, Stacey kept referring back to that 0 to 5%, whatever type of bullshit. It's like, well, what if they did? This guy did fall in that 0 to 5% of being innocent. Did they ever think about that? And now look at the poor guy. Like, yeah, he has no wife, he has no kids, and now what? And well, then Stacey kept coming back saying, "What did he lose? He has a house. I'm thinking, what's a house anymore? I mean, you have no wife, you have no kids. What's a house? I mean, big deal. I mean, gosh.
Right.
But yeah, no, I thought it was funny when you pissed her off and she left.
Yeah, I got her through both nights. But it's crazy because I felt so bad that lady, because they're like, Darren, what do you think? And I knew they were doing it just to fuck with me. And I'm like, you know what? You know how I think? I think if you're a pedophile, and I totally slammed.
Yeah.
Thought about it, and I'm like, what if he's innocent? So then I had to come back and, redeem it, because it wasn't rude of me to say that, because I was right in everything I said. But
but I think they just did not like what you said the second time around, even though you had a valid point.
Right. Well, thank God she said that. That lady did. I'm like, okay, redeem yourself to her right now. But it's true. Like you got to say things because you got to call a spade a spade.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the night before that, Stacey was like, well, I think you would agree that pedophiles picking up children, and I'm like, that's why we need to make sure we know who grandma is so pedophiles don't pick up kids.
Oh, that was the show. Yeah, that's the show that really pissed me off, the whole grandma thing, because you had a valid point. And she just kept trying to come back with like I'm a, physician or nurse practitioner, whatever the heck she is. Who cares who you are at the end of the day? It's a simple matter of if anybody walked in the street and just said, I'm so-and-so, you're just going to let the kid go with them? Like, right. I mean, without really researching? Yeah, and she just would not see it from your point. But, again, that's how they are, though. Whenever they make up their mind about a certain way or how they want to see it, then if you go against them, then you're not going to be okay on the show.
The twins episode last night. Was it last night?
Oh, wow.
She like come flying in. It was funny. Like I could feel the wind come off of her. When she was to start the show. Oh,
I was so shocked when she came on. I'm like, wait a minute, what? I think Miss G forced her to come on.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know if they're trying to make me. I don't know. But they,
Who
I'll
knows?
tell you what, that week, and I will say this, that week of mine was sucked. Like I almost walked away because it was just one thing after another. I'm like,
I
what the
could
hell is
not
it?
believe it.
I
I
mean,
could
like
not
this.
believe it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
was
you know
ready to
what,
walk.
Darren? If it wasn't for us that one night when we had him on, and basically we found out at the end of the show that like he basically tried to take his life, and Mr. Davis like right then and there saying, put you on the spot, didn't even ask you, and just almost demanded that you now do a show with him going forward, and you had no
Right.
problem. You right away picked it up, you did it, and you went forward with it. And to think that it kind of backfired against you in that kind of limelight was, the real kind of unfortunate part, but I don't know.
But that's the thing. That's my commitment to this dude, and I get nothing. There's nothing I'm asking for from him. I don't get paid.
No, I
I
know.
don't get.
That's what I mean, though. It's just the fact that
So,
Mr.
so
Davis can rely on you so much in that aspect, and you're just like, he's like basically, jump, and you're like, how high every time, and you just do it because, again, you're doing it for the right reasons. And, I don't know.
that's it. That's what I want people to recognize. I'm not
Yeah,
doing this
exactly.
to get any of this. I don't give a shit. You know what? If Donald Trump came here right now and said, "Darren, I'm going to take this over," I say, "God damn, thank God you're here." You know what I mean? I don't give a shit. Darren Wood ain't nobody. Go save these freaking kids. That's it. Save the kids.
What, Melissa? What'd you say, Melissa?
I said, I'm doing this to help other families. I mean, heck, I'm dealing with more and more families every day.
Well,
And
hey,
the sad
Melissa's actually the one that's like making things like move forward in people's cases, though, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I mean, Melissa even told me something about my case that I didn't even know that could be an option. I didn't know that when you have an appellate attorney and like when you're basically appealing your case, I didn't know that because basically both my appeals attorney and my husband's, because they didn't think that there was anything valid enough to write a brief, and they didn't. I didn't know that classified as basically, what is it, ineffective assistance to counsel or
Effective
whatever it's
counsel.
called.
Yep.
Yeah, and Melissa was the one to tell me that. Meaning, she goes, what do you mean they didn't write a brief for you? I said, they didn't write a brief because they said that they just didn't feel like there was anything done to me illegally at the tail end of my case. So therefore, they didn't write a brief. She goes, well, that's like basically ineffective assistance to counsel because they needed to write a brief for you. They can't just make up their mind and say they don't want to. And I didn't know that.
So
Mr.
here's
Davis
the
never told me
question.
that.
When you're supposed to be, when you go to your appeals case, and you're supposed to be
Uh-huh.
separate, right?
Uh-huh.
Do you? And this will go to my case. So our appeals lawyers wrote separate briefs. Hold on, like that, right? But the
Uh-huh.
appeals court came back. They rendered one decision, and there's another part of it too, and they gave no substance to it. They just said, nope, we affirm the court's decision. No answer, no reason why, no nothing.
Yeah,
Just
I
said,
hate it when they give those kind of answers.
yeah. And no nothing. And they put us together. Now, is there something that should be official? Because I think with a TPR, you should get a fucking letter with a seal on it or something. That says that you're. I mean, not that you're looking for it to hang on the wall.
They just
You're getting an
get
official
a
notice.
cheap printed copy.
A what?
And like literally, you'll just get an email or you'll get one in the mail, and it's just either a single letter that refers to all the cases that involve those children. So it would be you and your wife. Even though they rule on the cases separate, they only have to issue one answer unless there's multiple answers. Like, let's say they give her the kids, but they don't you, they affirm it on you. Then
Right.
that may trigger 2 letters, but typically there could be several people, like parents plus grandparents, all in on a case involving like the same 2 kids, and they'll put out one answer across the board. They will rule on all of them and give the final answer at the same time on all cases.
Right. I just think that there should be something official. I mean, you need a license and everything else in this country for everything you do. Why should you not have a certificate of? You have a certificate of saying that you made this product, or they can just take it away. Well, that's probably why. That's why, right? Because they're stealing it from you, so they don't want to notarize that. I mean, come on. How is there no official document saying that they took your kid? It's all a judge's decision. That's it. There's no form, there's no paper, there's no notarized, there's no signed by two people, there's nothing other than a decision from a judge that we all are in agreement are that in an administrative purpose only, so they can't even adjudicate. So what is the reason we don't get official notices, and a sealed envelope and all that?
Because they do it the easy way. They just change your kid's name and issue a new birth certificate and make it as if your kid never existed.
Right, but what I'm saying is
So why do they give you anything?
Think about how
Because
hard
the
it is
kid
to
now no
terminate
longer
anything.
exists.
Right, but think about how hard it is to terminate anything. Right? They made it so easy to do that with the kids. But like, even if you like cancel your electric bill, they're like, "Oh, geez, we got to notify this and send you this and blah 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 blah." But you get your kid eliminated from your life, they give you nothing to prove it, nothing but a judge's decision. So how can you say that this is legal? Because it's not. Who's signing this thing off as being legal? Who says that this is legal, what they did? There's no one there that a signature blocks and backs everything. It's just a judge's decision.
Yep.
Right?
Well, speaking of what you just said too, Melissa, how would I be able to find out if and when my youngest has been officially adopted, and if they have changed his name yet, as far as like his birth certificate? Is there any way to ever find that out?
Typically, because those proceedings are sealed, unless the foster placement has agreed to an open adoption, only then would you know.
Well, I mean, they did tell me that they were definitely going to change his last name when the adoption is finalized, but they don't think I know what their last name is, which is, again, so stupid. But, I mean, they made that mistake on the very tail end of the TPR when they decided to hire a lawyer on their own, meaning why the heck would you need a lawyer to keep my kid from coming back home to me that you supposedly wanted to advocate for this whole time, and now all of a sudden, you're caught in the sidelines saying that we need to do whatever we need to do to keep our son. And I'm like, oh, all the true colors are really coming out now. But yeah, no, their attorney was stupid enough to put their last name on their paperwork for the first time, and they got so upset because I don't think they knew that I saw that. But whatever, it is what it is. Right. I was just trying to see if there was a way where you hire an investigative type of person to be able to.
There's paper trails everywhere now, and nothing's clean. There's no clean footprint. But
yeah.
I mean, the biggest thing, Deidre, is keep fighting them. Keep finding ways.
Well, yeah, I mean, Melissa also gave me another option for that too, which I never had even known was a option. Meaning, she said that because the paternal grandmother, meaning my husband's mom, she has always wanted not one but all three of my kids since this started back, in August of 2020. And they always pushed her to the side, told her she had to become a foster parent, do all this kind of stuff. Make a long story short, at the TPR hearing, we subpoenaed her to come in as a witness and be put on the stand, which we did. And basically then that's when they still used the argument that now because too much time had gone by and my youngest had supposedly established his bond with these foster parents, that it would be too detrimental to break this bond, to have him come back to, to a blood relative type of thing. But make a long story short, right when our case then closed, now all of a sudden paternal grandmother, because she's foster licensed and everything, not only does she have one, two, but now she has three foster kids in her home that she's taking care of, meaning why not? She's already now approved, but how much more is that like a slap in your face that you weren't good enough to have your own blood grandchild, but you're good enough now to be a foster parent to strangers? Meaning I told Melissa about that, and she's like, well, wait a minute, you can still have her go into the courts, and what'd you say, Melissa? File a motion to something.
His mom can go in and she can apply to adopt the youngest one. That way they have to investigate her being family, which gives her a leg up over the foster placement. But for your children that your mom has custody of,
that one you want
transfer custody, and then you just have to do a legal agreement with her to transfer.
And see, I didn't even know that either, because Melissa said that would trump the guardianship technically that my mom has of my two older kids, because I'm technically then giving the custody of my kids to the paternal grandmother, meaning to get them away from my mom. Therefore, then down the road, Melissa said, then the grandma could turn around and give us guardianship and give us our kids back.
Yes.
I mean, Mr. Davis never would have given me these options. And here Melissa just rattles this off her mouth one night in 4 hours of a conversation.
Well,
But yeah,
it's
no.
not, the thing is, transferring and having and moving the custody of children ain't hard. And the courts are lying to so many people in an effort to stop them from knowing that they have rights, not allowing the grandparents to get up, giving excuses everywhere, just in efforts to stop families.
Well, because then the funding would stop too, right? If they keep them with my mom as guardianship, the funding keeps going. Right. And if I give the custody to the grandma, then it's kind of like the grandma's not going to get the funding then because I'm just giving her custody of my kids, right?
Yes and no. When you have the court's reading jurisdiction for up to 3 years, and if the placement is licensed, they can get paid for the next 3 years. If they're not licensed, no, they probably aren't really get money. But some states have funding where others don't.
Do you know, I don't know if I told both of you guys, but the amount of money that my mom has been getting every month for my 2 older kids, she gets about $2,300 a month. She's had them now for a little over 3 years. Do you know that she's made over $80,000 in the last 3 years that she's had my kids? Wow. And that's another thing Melissa told me. If I wanted to, I could basically have her summons and have to basically prove what she's been spending that money on every month. As far as, is she spending it on my kids? Hell no.
Yeah,
but then
you have to explain.
What?
Well, no, she's getting Title IV funding.
Oh, right.
And I told her, she's eligible to have her audited.
Audited, that's what she said. Yeah.
Yes, that money on the children.
Because I still buy my kids everything. I buy them their shoes still. I get them their haircuts. I buy them clothes. I pay for my older son's Kumon, which is $300 a month. It's like a Japanese style way of math and reading and stuff. The only thing that she really spends money on, because she absolutely has to, which is another form of what I call like torture and abuse, but she has them in this kids club. From freaking the earliest that she could drop them off to the latest at night, which is 6 o'clock at night. So that all she does every day is pick them up at 6 o'clock, feed them dinner, tell them to go take the shower, tell them to basically feed them their dinner, and then goes to bed. But other than that, she spends no money on them whatsoever. But does she have 2 houses that she's been paying on for the last 3 years in Vegas and here? She sure does. I mean, I wonder where that 80,000 went, and is going. It's just ridiculous, but then she wants to tell me that when she found out that I was still claiming my kids on my taxes because I felt like I still had every right to because of all the money that I still spend on them, and yet granted she gets paid every month to have them in her care. She told me this a couple months ago or 6 months ago when she found out that I claimed them. At first she tried to take my kids completely away from me because she was so irate with me when she got the letter in the mail saying that these kids have already been claimed, so now not only are you not going to get a refund, but now I guess you owe money. So she threatened me with basically telling me at first that she already reported me to the IRS, and that not only was I going to probably get in trouble like with fines and fees, but I was probably facing to be arrested, and that I was not going to see my kids anymore and all this kind of stuff. But then as the time went on and reality started to kick in, and she started to realize that keeping my kids from me is more torture on her end because, I basically take them every weekend or whenever she doesn't have them, at a function or in school, right? So then she comes back with telling me the only way I can see my kids going forward on the times that she lets me is if I agree to sign a letter that going forward, I will no longer claim my kids as long as she is the guardian, and that something else, I forgot, but that was the only thing that I really agreed to, is to admit that part that I wouldn't claim them. But even though, still thinking, justifiably looking at, you'll get paid $2,300 every month to basically just have my kids in your possession, but you don't really pay anything out of pocket to take care of them. If anything, you've made $80,000 off of them, right? But in all honesty now, you feel like you should be able to still turn around and claim them and get refunds now for them? And so, yeah, that's how shitty my mom has been ever since all this started 3 years ago. And she keeps me to it as far as whenever she feels like she's in the right and I'm in the wrong. Get this, she lets me take my kids trick or treating last night. We go trick or treating. We have a blast. They get so much candy, bags full of candy. I go to drop them off. Not only do I have to drop them off at still 7:30 at night, meaning the sun had barely come out or went down at 6. But whatever, it's a school night. I get it. So I drop them off at 7:30. Next thing you know, we're about to leave, and here comes my oldest, Mom, and I'm like, what? He's like, you have to give us the candy. I said, what do you mean I have to give you the candy? The candy's staying with us. You guys can have it when you're with us. Because if I give it to you guys, my mom's going to take it from you. Sure enough, starts crying. He goes, Mom, Grandma said if you don't give me the candy, that she's going to take our Nintendos and our tablets away. And he starts crying. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I don't think so. Yes, she needs all the candy because she's going to give it to the church. I said, are you kidding me? So you want to know what I did? I took both of their candy bags. I said, watch, Carter. And I dumped like 80% out in the car. And I didn't turn around. And I said, here, you can go give Grandma now this candy. Meaning we were still giving her the candy, but little does she know. But I mean, come on. That's like taking a kid to a freaking candy store and saying you can't have any candy. Like, really? Did she take them trick or treating? No, but then to think that she's gonna like take all the candy from them and then give it to the church? I mean, just such asinine things she does to them, and all at the end of the day, the kids are the ones that suffer. It's just, I could go on and on and on.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, and that's your family doing that to you. You know? Like,
yeah, Darren. Believe me, they have yet to even. My mom has yet to even acknowledge my youngest. You know, that's just a whole other ballpark in itself. And I don't really think I'll ever see him again either. You know, his birthday passed, and I really thought that was going to be something that they would have definitely still let us see him. And no, the last time we saw him was in June. And I was told in June that we would maybe see him again like a few months from there. And that would have landed us right about the end of September, beginning of October, which is his birthday, you know, October 8th. And then I contacted him on his birthday, and they waited to the very end of the day. And that's when they send me that message of basically saying, like, thank you. And they have the audacity to say, wait, let me just read it to you verbatim. And then I really have to go to work because, but no, they have the audacity to tell me something along the lines of, we're grateful for you. Hold on, I have to read it. Where is it? Oh, yeah, it is so long ago. I forget. Here it is. Okay. So I said, just want to say happy birthday to Caden and that we miss him and love him. No, first I said on October 1st, because his birthday was on the 8th. I said, I know you don't want me asking, but I was wondering if we will get to see Caden at all next weekend for his birthday. No reply. Then on his birthday, on the 8th, I said, I waited till 4:30 in the afternoon, hoping and praying that they would still maybe let us see him. And so then I said, just want to say happy birthday to Caden and that we miss him and love him so much. They finally send me.
Oh, look at that. They cut her out.
Cut what out?
Her. Look at that. They cut her out. Where'd Deidre go? Wow, that's a hell of a show that we just had, huh? What do you think we do with this one?
Hear you? Can you hear me? Oh, maybe because I clicked on the message. Maybe that's why. Okay, well, anyways, basically he said, I said, happy birthday. I just wanted to say happy birthday to Caden. We miss him and we love him so much. And something else. And then they finally sent me a couple pictures of him. And they said, basically, thank you for the message. Here's a few pictures. And we just wanted to say that we are so grateful for you today. You're so grateful for me? For what? The fact that I could give you my beautiful child at 1 month old and you just think that you're just going to live happily ever after with my child? That's what you're grateful for? Wow, just wait till the day that he gets old enough and God forbid, I just don't know how they can continue to live their life thinking that what is finally going to happen the day that he looks himself in the mirror and says, I, number one, don't look like you two. And I want to know the truth. I mean, I don't know how they're going to really live out his life if they are going to continue to tell him about us like they say that they will, which I doubt. But I mean, it's going to come out sooner or later. And then what are they really going to do? He's not going to be no dummy and not research it, I'm thinking. And so when the truth comes to the light, I just don't see how they still think that they're going to win at the end of the day. And honestly, only person that's really going to suffer is my child. Because then he's going to think that either number one, we completely abandoned him and didn't care about him, or number two, just feels so lost in the world.
What is he being told?
Well, that's what I mean. That's why don't even fool yourself from day one. From day one, I have every text message, every form of communication, any little thing you can imagine, pictures, videos, whatever, of these people that he is going to be grown up as thinking his mother and father. Meaning, if you would ask me on this day what happened, I can tell you exactly what happened as far as, the reaction that was said when I found out that they have now been raising him to think that they're mom and dad, when yet here I'm always referring to myself as mama and wondering why when I say, here, mama will do or mama will help, he kind of was starting to look around like, is he really trying to think that when I say mama, he's looking for this bitch? And then sure enough, it got to that point when she comes to pick him up from a visit and something happened where he turned around and he looked at her and he said, mama, and he went to her. And I just lost it thinking, how dare you? And then when the truth came out, when it was all said and done and we got our first so-called visit after our goodbye visit, meaning it was them trying to be nice enough to still think we were going to get to see him, they had to set the foreground right as we were on our way to the park for our 30 minutes they were going to give us, and told us, just so you know and that you're aware, you are to refer to us as mama and dada or whatever, and you're referred to as bio mom. I said, yeah, you're going to be, yeah, I'm like, yeah, like you think I'd be caught dead in my tracks referring to you guys as mama and dada and me as bio mom. And that unfortunately was the last time my husband could have the strength to go and see him in person, because he couldn't face that anymore, because if he would have done it again, he probably would be in jail still to this day. If you know what I mean. So unfortunately, my husband hasn't seen him since August of last year. So it's already been, a year and a couple months now, which is even more heartbreaking. But I mean, all right. Well, I'm going to end on that note. And whenever you guys think that you can maybe bring me back on one of your shows just to maybe tickle some feathers, that would be kind of amusing, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
But okay, guys, have a good night. Bye, Melissa. Bye, Mary.
Bye, Mary.
Okay, bye, guys. I'm gonna log off.
Bye. So freaking sad, man. So fucking sad. Well, I think that was a good show for the first one of this one. Melissa, you there? You going too? Well, I think Melissa's out. This is Darren Gway. You've heard it all tonight. That's just the way it is. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead and kick CPS's ass or something. We'll catch you on the next one. BallerCPS.com.